Is Kenyon Barner on island time? Stay tuned to find out.
Sometimes you got to take the pain like a vitamin, baby.
The Halloween candy's all gone.
Hold up. It's the Chargers Squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Chargers Squad Show midweek edition. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league, 3 rings, and a plush. This is his backyard. Well, fortunately for him, unfortunately for us, I was going to hear a good story about you being in Jamaica or something. But plush backyard, man. I love it. And Jim Daniels, we work together at NBC Sports Radio, covering sports in LA dating back to the early 2000s. Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So I feel like coming into today's show, the pundits across the sports world have a better view of the Chargers, a better opinion, if you will. And I feel like we need to maybe just kind of enjoy this little run that we're on. I looked at it and I go, it kind of feels a little bit like the Dodgers towards the end of the season when we were like, I don't know, can they really do it? And then, they finished strong, got to the World Series, and then we're all looking at them going, can they really come back and win this World Series? And sure enough, obviously we know that they did. I'm not saying the Chargers can win a Super Bowl, but I'm not saying they can't, because, anything's possible, and the Chargers are on a little bit of a roll right now, heading in to face the Jacksonville Jags, who are pretty good, but are they better than the Chargers right now? I was surprised to see this. We'll get to this a little bit later, but Colin Cowherd has them in his hierarchy as the 9th team in the league, the Chargers. I was like, okay, that's something, that's respectable. But KB, what I want to play to start out the game of the day here is this law of transitive properties in wins and losses. It's something that fans do. I don't know if you players do this, but basically what we do is we look at the Jags schedule, we look at the Chargers schedule, and we look at common opponents and see how we both fared against them. In this particular situation, the 2 common opponents for the Chargers and the Jags are the Chiefs and the Raiders. Both the Chargers and the Jags beat them. The Jags beat the Chiefs 31-28, and the Raiders beat the Jags beat the Raiders 30-29. So that game a little bit closer. Can you take anything away from either one of those games and say, well, the Chargers did better against those 2 teams than the Jags did?
Listen, as a player, we absolutely do this. Well, during my time, the measuring stick was any team that played the Cleveland Browns and what they did against the Cleveland Browns. Was it a close game, or we're absolutely going to dog them if they play close to the Browns? But listen, I say this all the time. It's any given Sunday. We could look at, the commonality of the 2 teams that we have played. But it's not very telling. I mean, I'll go back to the Cincinnati game that the Jaguars ended up losing, right? They lost to a team that ended up losing Joe Burrow in that game, and we all know what Cincinnati has turned into. You look at the Raiders game, it's 30-29. It's a close game against a bad Las Vegas team. But in actual reality, when you look at this Jacksonville Jaguar team, I just don't think they're a good team. I don't think that this is a team that we should struggle against. I think we should handle business. So the law of commonality, yeah, there is some similarities there, but nevertheless, it's the NFL.
Yeah, Jim, I look at the Seahawks game. The Seahawks team is a good team now. They're 7-2. They play the Rams. That's a great game this weekend. But you could look at the Seahawks and go, they haven't beaten anybody, and they lost. This Jags team lost to the Seahawks. So I think that one could be could be some fuel in the tank there as a measuring stick. What do you think about that game, or some of the do any other games pop off the schedule here for you?
Well, I'll answer that before the other one. Then, the Raiders stuff always is going to pop off the schedule because this is just a bad football team. They're not competitive right now, and so we're looking at that, I think, a different way. But when it comes to the Seahawks, I don't want to say that they're completely untested because they're showing up in all three phases of the game every single week, no matter who they're playing. I agree with you guys on Jacksonville not being a good football team. I mean, is this year 6 now? Is it 5 or 6 are waiting for Trevor Lawrence to break out? Every year is supposed to be his breakout year. And dude, look, take somebody like Jordan Love and stack him up to Trevor Lawrence, and he's not been under center as long as Trevor Lawrence. He's got better numbers. I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence for me. This is not going to be a superstar quarterback. This is a guy that needs to go. He needs to do the Matt Stafford move. He needs to go someplace ready-made. Like if you were to take Lawrence and put him on the 49ers, well, maybe that's not, maybe a healthy 49ers team, because you can't rely on this guy to be the superstar that leads you. He's not Baker Mayfield. Okay. He's not. He's going to kind of go with whatever the flow of the game is. And if it's a tough day at the office for him, he's going to get sacked because that's what he does. He gets sacked. So, that's a bad football team. We should get over on them. And I believe that the is better than, I won't say their record, but better than their opponents is saying.
Yeah, I think a good win for them, KB, was beating the Niners. They were a much better team when they beat them. So you could look at that and say that was a nice win for the Jags.
Yeah. I'm going to that game as we speak. Yeah, everybody was there. So, yeah, you can absolutely say that. But I want to look at Trevor Lawrence. Sometimes, everybody falls in love with potential. And at Clemson, he was an absolute dog. He was an absolute animal. And sometimes that player just does not transition to the NFL. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes guys don't reach the potential that they reached in college at the NFL level. And I'm not saying that Trevor isn't talented. I'm not saying that he's not capable. He is. He's a capable quarterback. But I just don't think that – I think we could place him in any system. But Trevor will be who Trevor has been, right? You have to change the individual first before you can go and change a team. But again, I think he's a young quarterback, still growing, still evolving, still has a high ceiling. He could shock us all eventually. But as of right now, I'm just not that worried about him. But to your point about this, there are some games where this team has been in and that these teams have won and you have to look at those games and take them into consideration.
So what's the most important quarterback metric to both of you guys? Jim, you go first, because I got Trevor Lawrence's numbers pulled up here. He's ranked as the 16th quarterback in the NFL. As a point of reference, Justin Herbert is the second. So we definitely have the better quarterback. But what's the number one metric that you like, Jim? Yards, completion percentage, just, what's most important to you? Interceptions
or the quarterback position.
For the quarterback position, when you look at their numbers, what's the most important metric?
It's for me, I think it's going to be completion rate, because I want to keep moving the chains. I'm not falling in love with, getting the ball downfield. That's something that, it will show itself. And I think KB might agree with this. That's something you might see in the third quarter that you don't exploit until the third or the fourth quarter. If you see something that's repeatedly happening, you're going to wait and you're going to try and attack that, at the right time. So for me, it's completion rate, because that means you're finding your guys are getting open and you're moving the chain. So that's number one. But I have to say, I love it when Herbie takes off and gallops a little bit, because that keeps him guessing.
He is the 30th quarterback in the league, 59.5 at completion percentage. So not great in that category that you like. What about you, Kenyon Barner? What number?
Listen, I'm in the car with my guy Jim, but I'm gonna jump off at this corner right here. I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna get out and walk. My metric that I judge quarterbacks by is the completion of games, meaning winning. Okay. Do you win? Everybody looks at Jalen out there in Philadelphia and they talk about his lack of numbers and what he doesn't do. But the bottom line, as a quarterback, you want to win football games. So I judge just win. That's the objective of football. Win. So that's the metric that I measure every quarterback by, is can you win? I don't care if you go out there and put up gaudy numbers, you throw for 500 yards and complete this many of your passes and rush for. No. Did you win the game? Did you win? You did all of that in the loss. You made $1 million move with a $5 finish. No. Do you win?
Just win. Well, yeah, they've won. I look at yards and completion percentage, and the other one for me that's very important, interceptions, right? That is a very, very important metric to me. And when you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's got 7 interceptions, and our guy is what does he have? 5, 8? He's got more? Does he?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, you got 8.
Okay, so that's pretty even number right there. So, just throwing it out there, just comparing and contrasting. That's what we do here on Tuesday. We have plenty of numbers. I can cram them down your throat. Sacks. Well, that's on the line more than it is on the quarterback, right? Isn't that fair to say that that's more about?
I don't know. Is Green Bay's offensive line that much better than Jacksonville's? Because he's getting.
They might be. 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 But to your point, that it definitely falls. Both have to take responsibility in that. Sometimes a quarterback can hold on to the ball too long. Sometimes you get coverage sacks, right, where there's nobody to throw the ball to. So I think there's a lot of things that go into why a quarterback is sacked. Not necessarily that the offensive line is just always bad and it's always their fault. Sometimes the running back misses a block. So I think when you look at how a quarterback is sacked, it falls on everybody. Everybody has to do their part to make sure it doesn't happen, and everybody has to do their part to make sure that they can get the ball off and throw the ball.
Yeah, and you look at that number, we know that Justin Herbert is the most pressured quarterback in the league. He's 3rd in sacks, so he's getting sacked all the time. The number 1 guy in sacks, Cam Ward, on a very bad Tennessee Titans team. But number 2 is Drake May, and they're a good team, the New England Patriots. So
yeah, they are.
That doesn't, to me, I feel like that's more on the line than it is on the quarterback. Justin Herbert probably could have a few less if he wasn't such a gamer and a beast in there, standing in the pocket, trying to make something out of nothing time after time. So that's what I take away from getting sacked a lot, is that he's not willing to throw the ball away. We've talked about that. He needs to throw the ball away a little bit more, keep himself healthy. And,
yes, he does.
We are afraid that his doggedness is going to cause him.
I like that.
His health, right? So he maybe needs to be a little less of a dog, if you ask me.
That's hard, Pete. I was just having this conversation with Jay Stu. You can't, because that changes the player. It changes the way that he goes out and presents himself on the field. Like when you think about Justin Herbert and his mentality, you got to understand that when you see that type of play from your quarterback, that ignites you as an offense, that ignites you as a defense to know that you got a dog.
He's got a bee. Oh no!
I'm allergic to him. Don't y'all be laughing at me in the comments.
Oh man!
Don't y'all be laughing at me. I'm allergic to him. Okay.
Don't move. Just stay still.
Just stay still. Well, it's too late. As you can tell, I moved a whole lot. But to Herbie,
4th down.
If you take that dog out of Herbie, he won't be the same.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, Jim. I think it's a big stat in completion percentages, and Herbie is 15th in the league, 67%, and number 1 is Jared Goff at 74%. So he's good in that category. So when you get right down to it, that's all important. Let's take a break. When we come back, we can do where the Jags rank offensively and defensively across the league. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, Jim Daniels, the Locked On Chargers midweek squad show. Don't forget to check out David and Daniel Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers squad show brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your team and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice, that's where you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform, global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designated to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos for your software created. All right, now you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnfl. That's rippling.com/lockedonnfl. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnfl. rippling.com/lockedonnfl. That's rippling.com/lockedonnfl. 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. We usually start breaking down the game. We'll get back to some of the Sunday stuff that we like, but first we're looking forward to the Jags, because I feel like, the Chargers are rolling 3 in a row, looking for 4 in a row. And it's a very, very winnable game when you look at some of these numbers. The Jags on defense, and Herbie is not afraid to move the ball around and move it down the field, and he's got plenty of good receivers that are capable. Points allowed, 27th in the NFL, 25 points a game do the Jags allow. Total yards allowed, 31st in the league, 389. Their overall ranking on defense is between 26 and 31. Their strength, though, is against the rush. That's 3rd in the NFL. So that tells me the Chargers lately have been running the ball a lot. They have been their identity is back to what we have asked for and what we've wanted and hoped for, that they are a run first team. But when you've got a good run defense and you've got Justin Herbert as your quarterback, do you think the game plan against what we know about this Jacksonville defense is going to be, hey, let's sling it. Let's get out there and sling it a little bit more? Or KB, is it just the stick with what's been working and let's have a balanced attack?
Every game is its own entity. It's its own thing, right? And so when you look at this team and their strength is their run defense, I don't think that changes a thing. I think you have to come out, execute your game plan. You have to come out, run the ball, pass the ball. Again, we've said it on here time and time again. The pass doesn't work without the rush. The rush doesn't work without the pass. They're married. They come together. So you have to do both in order to be successful. And if there comes a point in time to where you do have to go rogue and you do have to go away from your game plan, then you do it then. But if I'm the Chargers, after what I've seen from Kamani Vidal and what I've seen from him over the past couple of weeks, I'm going to give him the ball, because I clearly see the more that I give him the ball, the more that he does produce. Kamani Vidal he's that wear and tear back. He's gonna weigh on you for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, but in that fourth quarter, he's going to make those runs. He's going to rip off 10 and 7 and 15. He's going to get yards. So I'm definitely going to feed Kamani Vidal because he's earned it, right? He's put it on film each and every week that they fed him. This dude has went out there and produced. And so I feel like you have to lean on him to take some of that pressure off of Herbert, to take some of that pressure off of the offensive line, and so the defense can't get a real beat on you.
Jim, I know you like it when he touches the ball, when any back for the Chargers touches the ball. What's the number that you would like to see this weekend?
The magic number for me is always 20, or maybe that's the threshold that I want to make sure we get to. I like 25 even better. But I have to say this, that Davis Mills threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns on these guys just 1 week ago. So I'm not going to back away from the passing game against these guys at all.
I don't want to seem ignorant. Who is Davis Mills?
That's the Texans stand-in quarterback that went up against the Jags.
Okay, all right.
Call a journeyman.
Okay,
that entirely makes my point. Thank you.
And no disrespect. No disrespect. I mean, no disrespect. But when you said that name, my mind immediately said, "Who?"
He's the future Toronto Argonauts quarterback.
Wow.
But KB, what you said about the game plan, I'm like, preach, because that is exactly what it needs to be. It needs to be what we saw last week. Even though it's not looking pretty, it's looking like, well, there's just a lot of nothing happening here. But it doesn't matter. They just have to keep hammering away to try to find water in that rock. And that's got to be the game plan. Even though it may not be working, it's got to be, doesn't matter. It will, fortitude with this running game against a good running team, because if I feel like with the offense that the Chargers bring to the table and the defense that the Jags have against the passing game, that's always going to be there. They're going to be, unless we get some sort of weird anomaly, and that does happen, where all of the terrible pass defense will figure out one day how to play and, show up and make us look bad. But, you look at the numbers, that it feels like that has to be what we need from the Charger game plan. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is when you look at where the Chargers are right now, the game plan that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, again, Titans are not a good team. The Steelers are a pretty good team, but Chargers made them look bad. And I feel like those two game plans were fairly similar. Has their identity changed a little bit back to the way the season started against the Chiefs? And you know, they feel probably, I think, more comfortable with where they are, because it's important, right, KB, to know who you are. That's a big thing.
Absolutely.
Do know who you are, to stick to that. Now, do we feel like over the last few weeks the Chargers have established a better identity?
That's a hard one for me to answer, because we've gotten on here and we've talked about the lack of identity when Greg Roman tries to get away from who he is. We go back to the beginning of this season where we started off being gunslingers, you know, coming out throwing the ball all over the field, and then you kind of transition into games where you get 20 to 25 carries from a running back. And so when you look at this team and their identity, I would lean more towards saying they are who they need to be in the moment. You know, what's being called for in that moment. That's kind of what I pick up from this Charger offense. We know who the defense is, right? The defense has their identity. But when it comes to the offense, I think it's based on the moment and what they need and what it calls for in the flow of the game.
Jim, when you look at what Kamani Vidal has been doing,
yeah,
you know, in the absence of Omarion Hampton, does that, in the back of the offensive line's head, make them want to be a little bit better? I know they're not going out there trying to be bad, but when you've got somebody that, you know, if you got a running back who's doing it, like he's producing, like, does the line go, come on, let's step it up a little bit. Let's just be 5% better. What's that statement, KB? Let's be 5%, 10% better every play or something, every day, whatever. I don't know.
1% better every day.
1%. Okay.
1% better. 10% is great.
Yeah. But JD, is that the kind of thing where the line could, you know, hey, we want to be better for our running back?
I'm going to say yes, because we've talked about many times, especially KB, about what a team sport this is and how you've got to have everybody, how, like, you know, a devastating injury like Joe Alt, which the common fan maybe not even really even know who he is, but has a crazy impact on the football team and what they do going forward. Number one, their versatility, I absolutely love. To be able to rise to the moment and do what they need to do is a sign of a quality football team. And then does the line feel better? I think absolutely, because they're doing a good job. He's benefiting from it. This is not the guy that we started the season with. It's somebody else. But you know what? We're going to get Omarion Hampton back. Then we're going to run a little thunder and lightning at you between these two guys. I would think it makes them pumped up and gets them excited to keep the other team guessing as to what are we really going to do when which one of these guys is in the game. So, yeah, I think they are pumped up about the way Kamani has played.
All right, here's some of the numbers on the Jacksonville Jags offense. Total offense, 14th in the league, 338 yards. Rushing offense, 11th in the league, 123. I think if the Chargers can keep them around 120, that's going to be good for them on defense, which is their average. Passing offense is 16th in the league. This is pretty much middle of the pack. But here's I think the thing the Chargers need to exploit, and this is what they do: the bend don't break thing. They let them get down to the red zone. Their scoring offense is 26th in the league at 18 points a game. So they don't put up a lot of points. They get down there, but they don't get it into the end zone, which is the problem the Chargers had, but they've kind of rectified that over the last few weeks. So I feel like the defense can feast on, you know, the middle of the field and try to be a little bit more aggressive, create turnovers. But then when you get down to the red zone, they dial it up a notch. Now, Kenyon, when you think about that philosophy, is that a very fairly typical standard week in and week out philosophy? You know, we can let stuff happen in the middle of the field, but we have to dial it up in the red zone.
Obviously, what'd you say?
Can't hear you.
Oh, I got him. I can hear him.
I don't think
you can you hear me?
I got you. Go ahead.
Nope, you're on. So
you muted me.
Gonzo.
So Nothing. It's Pete. It's not me.
Jim, are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
I can't hear Jim either. What the hell?
Oh, so it's Pete.
Oh my God. And nothing is muted. What is going on? What is happening? I didn't touch anything.
Listen, this is technology, folks. Okay. This is technology.
Not muted.
Go ahead,
not muted. Where is
Jim? So I'm gonna answer this because he's probably gonna hop back in and
Disaster on a stick. I don't know.
Or maybe I
Let me
should
take the break, and maybe it'll come back after I hit the break. I don't know.
There's
They're
an
both
idea.
there.
Great
You
idea.
guys know sign language.
I do.
Be right back.
I actually do.
Well, we got to do this right now.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
I don't know. I can't hear anything. I can't.
Can you hear? Can you hear us?
That commercial. I have no idea what the hell just happened. Don't you love live media audio? Everything has gone bye-bye.
It's a great song. In sync.
Hmm.
Bye.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to punt and then try to reset up. We'll be right back. I don't know. I can't hear you guys. So I'm gonna end this one. We'll restart and we'll be right back. So I apologize, but we have technical difficulties. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show, part 1, part 2 coming up here in just a minute. Hang on.